Actually, when I was in the seventh semester, I decided that I'll take GRE and go for higher studies. Actually, I was preparing for MBA. Quite ironic, but yeah. But then many things happened in the sixth semester that forced me to take a decision. No, I should go for MS, not MBA. So, and my friends also said that you can go switch for MBA any day, but for MS is not everybody's cup of tea, and that too in a very specialized field, computer science, or further drill down to any specific field. So that was the time when I decided I should go for GRE. So for higher studies, MS. Then when I was in eighth semester, I was interning. Then I thought I should take GRE. I started preparing, but then suddenly I had to switch to Bangalore because I got an offer in Bangalore. Then when you switch to a new place, it takes time to settle down and everything. And then after 5 6 months, when I settled down, then I thought that, and earlier there were some issues with my passport also, so I was not very sure. Until unless you have a passport, you can prepare for GRE exam. So I got my passport in December, and January I started preparing for the GRE. And in the Feb of 2011, first week I enrolled with GRE Edge. My initial plan was I'll do myself. I was preparing by myself. I was going through the word lists. I had completed quant also from the Barons before joining GRE Edge. But then I thought it's too easy. Probably GRE exam would be more difficult or something like that. So I was looking for difficult questions. And plus with the job in hand, I was not able to stick to a particular schedule. So that was when I started looking out for resources, and then I came across GREH. Nobody told me as such. I was browsing through internet, different sources, and I liked the concept and the demo that you gave me initially, and I thought I should give it a try. And my experience was really good. Quant questions I found were really good, uh, far better than the standards of GRE. And the verbal section was indeed very, very good because I got to learn words in a different context, the usage of words in different contexts. My SFAs were so helpful. Uh, I bothered my verbal SFA Trina so much. I used to throw so many questions on her, not only from GREH question bank, but from many other sources. And she was very, very helpful. She used to reply on time, and she used to answer really well. One of the main factors for joining GREH was because when I was preparing for by myself, I used to get stuck at places, but I couldn't find source who could help me in answering those doubts. SFA concept is really good. The online tracking tracker is also very nice. Hardly during my 2.5 months of preparation with GREH, it went down some server issue. Otherwise, it was just flawless. So it was really nice. The infinite number of questions, practice tests. It's a really good concept. Plus the adaptivity of how you are learning. So I really like the concept. The demo was really impressive. That made me decide that I should go for GREH, and it was a really good experience with the online system as well as with the SFAs, interaction with the SFAs and the ways they helped me out during my preparation process. Yeah. I'm looking forward to 6 more decisions, but with UCLA in hand, 3 of them are simply ruled out. I'm actually looking forward to 3 more, which are University of Texas Austin, University of British Columbia Vancouver, and University of California San Diego, because they're pretty much good, if not better, at least equivalent to UCLA. Plus, decision will depend more on the funding also if I get funding from somewhere. So that will be awesome. The other 3 universities that I'm waiting for are University of Minnesota, University of Southern California, and University of California Irvine. So that are ranked lower than UCLA any day. So UCLA is better. So those 3 I'm not really waiting for because UCLA is definitely better school than them. Yeah, since I'm working, I'll start with the LORs. First, I thought from which all people have been important in my college life, who have helped me, mentored me, and know me pretty well because they can write a good recommendation for me. SOP is a very, very critical document. That is the only way that you can impress the admissions committee. Impress in a good way. of what you have, of what talent you have, what you have done so far, not the with the bombastic or jazzy language that you can write. You should be very, very honest, because if you take my case, I had papers in information security and grid computing, cloud computing, but I wanted to go for data mining and machine learning. So I was very honest about it, that I had done this projects in these areas, but I want to go for this area. So, however, I have seen people not very honest in the SOPs, but I was. So probably that could be one of the reasons I got rejects from some of the schools. But yeah, it happens. So SOP is a very important document. You need to think a lot. Each and every line should be very, very thoughtful. So I must have spent around 2 months in preparing my SOP. I've the first draft that you will write and the last draft and the final one that you will submit in the university process would be very, very different. So if I compare it now, so I would advise that you should think, you should have a, uh, a chronological way of how you started, what forced you, what are the events in your life, in your college life, that forced you, that made you decide that you want to go for higher studies, and what all events have helped you make that decision. And so you should list them in a paper chronologically, and then frame out an essay. It should be a story. It should be flowing. That this is what I have done. This led me to this decision, and this is what I want to do, and this is the area I'm interested in, and these are the professors I have whose work I have liked in your university, and it would be really great if I can get into. I have. First would be you need to have a lot of patience. It's a big project in itself. The day you start, you think that you have to go for higher studies. To the day you finally land in US for higher studies, it's a very big project. Personally, I feel that because I started my preparation in January 2011, and I'll go in August 2012. So you need to have a lot of patience. Plus, during the GRE preparation as well, post GRE preparation, when you are doing research on the universities, professors and everything, that is also very painful task. So be patient. You'll definitely get into some good university. Then application process, you're preparing for SOPs, LORs, all those days are also very tough. We are always in a confused state. So patience is very much important. Then comes the worst period of waiting for the results, 3-4 months. That actually test your patience and endurance. So I've been through all these phases, so I can tell you. And then after you get the admits, all your documentation for visas and everything, your preparation, start feeling last days in India with parents, with friends. So it's a pretty much mixed phase of mixed emotions, and definitely test of patience. If you be patient, you'll definitely land into a good school. And other would be a cost saving technique. When you apply for GRE and TOEFL, please do shortlist before the universities, at least 4 of them, because you can save around $100. I wasted a lot of them. I didn't even know the states of the universities I was applying for, and the GRE and center. People are not helping. I told them these are the schools I want to apply to. Can you figure out the states for me? Then said no. So some are evident. Say if it is UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles, you know it's California, but it's Purdue University. You don't know it's in Indiana or whatever. Yeah. So this is how. So do a shortlist before you appear for the exam, because that will save a lot of cost. And all the best for your preparations and all throughout this big project.